Tour guides work in the travel industry, giving guided tours to groups of visitors. They are experts on the history of the location and offer their tour groups interesting or enlightening information about points of interest at nature attractions, historic sites, museums, scenic locations, and other travel destinations. Guides may give walking tours, bus tours, or even lead river tours on a boat. Often hired by visitors bureaus or travel companies, tour guides are typically residents of the region in which they give tours. A tour guide's duties depend on their location and employer. If they are self-employed, they will usually give tours of publicly accessible travel destinations like national parks or nature attractions. Those who are employed by a visitors bureau or corporation offer tours of sites, industrial locations, or other points of interest. The three main areas of specialization within the guiding industry are historical tour guiding, corporate tour guiding, and nature or eco tour guiding.
Good day! Today I'm going to discuss about river guides. River guides or raft guides lead groups of people to river rapids and obstacles in the water. Trips can last for a few hours to multiple weeks, and often guides are responsible for outfitting the guests. They are also responsible for setting up necessary camp accommodations and setting up their meals. Many guides attend trainings to ensure their skills are proficient enough to ensure safety for the guests. So why should you consider being a raft guide? First, you get to spend your days in nature. Second, you enrich the lives of others. Number 3, every day is an adventure. Number 4, you stay in good shape. Fifth, you look forward to your work. Come on, let's go rafting!
Good day, I'm going to explain to you the climbing guide. Climbing guides often provide their guests an equipment to climb safely in an area. Just like here in Montalban, you need a gloves and a knee pad to climb a mountain. Climbing guides may lead guests on bouldering, sports climbing, or multi-pitch adventure, where they might teach techniques and provide instruction. These are the reasons why you need to hire a climbing guide. Number 1 is to stay safe. Because they are all well-trained experts, they know how to read conditions and anticipate danger. They also know how to handle emergencies and make the proper decisions when there is a risk. Number 2, optimize your adventure.
A local guide will be able to take you to the best powder spots for skiing, to that secret uncrowded spot with the best views when hiking, up a side of the hill that is less physical challenging and more rewarding in terms of landscape.
Number 3 is you can acquire new skills, enjoy good company, and learn about good history and culture. If you are going to climb a mountain, make sure to hire a climbing guide.
The next type of tourist guide that we have are the local guides. From the word itself, local, they are local people known to have a specific information or tourist guides that are more familiar with the tourist destinations. But take note that the local tour guides are not accredited by the Department of Tourism or the DOT. But having a local tour guide in a community creates job opportunities. In contrast to the non-local guide, the local guide is live-in resident that is more likely to be familiar with the local area and has a solid link to the community. It should be someone with the skills to provide visitors with adequate knowledge about the local area. They should be reliable and show passion for informing the tourists about the local area.
Great day! I am going to discuss to you what is a historical tour guide. So, a historical guide leads tourists around historical landmarks and points of interest like ruins, temples, battlefields, and other sites of historical importance. Historical guides are either working as employees of the site, working as employees of a larger tour company, or working independently that may have interesting facts and informations about the area and events of the past that can appeal to sightseers. Historical tour guides also lead group of visitors to national monuments, historical sites and districts, religious or archaeological sites, and museums. This type of guides are well versed in the history of site or monument. They also offer visitors an interesting description of the location, including history and what effect it has had on the modern society. In addition, they answer visitors' questions and keep the tour organized, efficient, and safe.
Hi, I'm Dane Perez and I will be discussing about park guides. So what is a park guide? A park guide may insist in working in theme parks, zoos, state park, and national parks. A park guide is the one who leads group within the park and points out noteworthy attractions and giving out information to the tourists. A park guide is a uniformed employee who presents guided walks, tour talks relating cultural, natural, and historical interest within the national park.
A park guide provides a range of informational services to park visitors. As a park guide, your duties and responsibilities range from leading educational programs, taking visitors on tours or guided walks, maintaining the information material at the park visitor center, and distributing and updating maps of trails or other features at the park. Aside from having educational attainment, you can gain experience and be better by doing seasonal work at other parks and learn about those parks. Or, you may gain some advanced training or knowledge in a specific subject area relevant to the park. And always remember that developing interpersonal and communication skills is essential. Good morning, tourists! But here in Manila, we don't say good morning. We say magandang umaga. Can you say it?
Magandang umaga.
Amazing! Are you all excited for our tour?
Yes.
Let us do the head count first to know if you are complete. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 30. Okay, we are complete. In behalf of KK's Travel and Tour, I am Therese and I am your official tour guide for today. Please remember to follow the rules and regulations for our safety. Okay, I have a question. For those who know the answer, just kindly raise your hand, okay? Who is the national hero of the Philippines? Okay, what's your answer?
Dr. Jose Rizal.
Your answer is correct. And because of that, you won a prize. For those who don't know Dr. Jose Rizal, he is our national hero. And you will know what is his connection to our spot. Welcome to Luneta Park, also known as Rizal Park.
Snowmobile guides are tourist specialists that take guests on tours of the most fascinating sections. Guides are in charge of planning and coordinating trips and all of these rules. So, what does it take to become a snowmobile guide? So first, all of the guide must be trained in basic first aid and CPR or higher medical certification. They must also have a prior snowmobile, ATV, or guiding experience. Next, they go through a week-long orientation training along with the whole staff. And finally, the rookie guide must train alongside with the veteran guides until they feel confident and ready to become a lead guide. Snowmobiling do's and don'ts. First, Know the local hazard and forecasted conditions. Second, understand the importance of protective equipment and proper clothing while riding a snowmobile. Third, ride defensively, be courteous and use common sense. Fourth, follow the rules of the road and abide by all trail signs. Fifth, obey posted speed limits. So these are the don'ts. First, do not operate at high speeds, especially when near houses, buildings, and wildlife. Second, do not use alcohol or drugs. Third, do not engage in reckless, careless, or inappropriate behavior. Fourth, do not disturb the wildlife. And fifth but not least, do not ignore the sudden changes in weather conditions.
So I will discuss about a museum tour guide and then step-on tour guide. So let's start first with a museum tour guide. A museum tour guide is a creative, imaginative, enthusiastic individual who provides interpretative services to museum visitors through guided tours and workshops, as well as special events such as family programs, exhibit, openings, adult activities, and museum outreach programs, so locally and statewide. A museum tour guide is also known as museum dozen. They serve as an ambassador, educator, and entertainer for the museum. These individuals possesses a thorough knowledge of a museum's exhibit, which allows them to explain an exhibit or artifact significance and answer any questions that the guests may have. Next is a step-on guide. The role of a step-on guide is to join a designated location, a designated group, and at a designated location, and step on the coach to provide guided commentary of the site's location and history of a local place. They then leave the group and the company continues on with its itinerary. That's all.
A city guide may conduct tours of a city on bicycles, buses, rickshaws, automobiles, or on foot. Historical or cultural places, restaurants or publics, and architectural highlights may be highlighted by the city guides. A city guide is usually highly knowledgeable about the place where they work, so they can provide visitors with useful information. A city guide is someone who points out and remarks on the major attraction of a city, generally from the comfort motor coach, minibus, or a van, but may also accompany a group on a walking tour.
What is ATV tour guides? ATV tours are guided expeditions led by experienced guides for rock terrain or other terrain. Each guest will ride on an ATV on trails or dirt roads. The difficulty of the trails or roads will depend on the ability level of the riders, as well as the specific tour being led. Before the participants go on any of the ATV tours offered, they must undergo a brief safety training session in which they will be shown how to use the vehicle properly and what to do in case of an emergency situation arises.
Once the participants have been educated in the proper use of the vehicle, the ATV tours can commence. Each participant must wear a helmet, and in some cases, eye protection may be required. Each person will ride on his or her own ATV, and they will follow an experienced guide on trails or dirt roads. The guide will be responsible for the safety of all the participants, which means he or she must never lose sight of all the ATV riders on the trip. In many instances, the guide will give the participants advice on how to handle a certain trail conditions and educate the participants on the area in which they are riding.
Good day to everyone, and I'm here to share some of the ideas I have when it comes to trail riding guide. Here's a rundown for those who are wondering what a trail riding is. The trail riding guide is originated from the term horse riding, but in North America, it is usually called as trail riding or less often as hacking. In UK and in Europe, the practice is usually called as horse or pony trekking. Trail riding can include other activities such as camping, hunting, fishing, orienteering, and backpacking. The job of a trail ride guide demands a full knowledge of trails, horses, safety and emergency procedures, applying first aid kits to horses, especially giving injections. They are also the one who keeps the barn and stalls, general upkeep of the facility, grooming and feeding the horses, and mounting and dismounting the riders. That's all.
Stretch those muscles and explore exciting hiking and trekking tours in the Philippines. Witness sea of clouds from mountain summits. Hiking guides usually provide lunch and trail snacks along with natural and cultural interpretation, first aid, and transportation. Why work as a hiking guide? Here are the top 3 reasons why you should work as a hiking guide. First, make a difference in people's life. The top reason to become a hiking guide is the positive impact you have on the guests you take out on the trail. For many people in the world, setting aside a week to experience the best of sea of clouds from mountain summits is an invaluable investment of time and money. It's a tremendous privilege to be able to lead guests on outdoor experiences they will never forget. Seeing the effect on them as the beauty of the world's wild places sinks into their consciousness is an honor. That's not to say every guest has a profound experience, but many do, and it's largely because of a great guide when it happens. Second, nature is your office. What a gift it is to work in the outdoors, to wake up to a bright blue sky, to sit around the campfire at night, to spend your days in the world's most beautiful places. It's true, it doesn't pay nearly what many professions do, but everyone else is working in their offices 50 weeks a year so they can spend their 1 week a year with you in your office. This isn't the top reason to become a trekking guide or a hiking guide because people always have to come first, but it's a close second. Third, it is a physically active work. If healthy physical work appeals to you, then finding a hiking guide job might be a great choice. Spending your work days out on the trail can be difficult at times, but also deeply fulfilling. Summiting peaks, hiking canyons, exploring national parks, trekking to waterfalls, these are the activities that fill up a trekking guide's average day. It also requires cooking, first aid, natural logistical planning, driving, and more. But the first responsibility is taking people on a great hike.
Now let's proceed to Adventure Tour Guide. I am Rio and I will be explaining Adventure Tour or Tour Guide. Before anything else, what is an adventure tour? Adventure travel is a way to explore the world which usually requires a daring spirit and physical exertion. It may involve taking the road less traveled, using a focused activity such as diving, kayaking, climbing, or hiking as a means to discover or push beyond your comfort zone. There are so many ways to embark upon an adventure, and while some people choose to summit the highest peak or cycle the passes in alpine regions, others long for the world below the sea or the wilderness of African bush. At the root of all these experiences is a desire to journey further, but even the faint of heart can go on adventure holiday. It's just about finding the right adventure for you and of course, the perfect tour guide. Now, what is an adventure tour guide? Adventure tour guide provides excursion on multiple continents and in numerous countries. This is a type of guide who takes a group of people out to do recreational and adrenaline-filled activities. This tour is usually the one that is more exciting and interactive than most typical tour. Especially if you're an adventurous person like me, you'll definitely like to experience one of these tours. These guides have the responsibility of setting up an itinerary for the tour and arranging accommodations, transportations, and dining locations for extended trip. For outdoor adventures, guides take care of providing equipment, provision for meals, equipment for safety. Adventure guides stay at the same location as guests to take care of any issues and keep the group on schedule. What does it take to be an adventure tour guide? A seasoned and experienced adventure guide is well versed in the tour's activity and the history of the location. The guide should be aware of little known places, beaten track to add to the excitement of the adventure, as well as frequently visited tourist attractions. A prime responsibility of an adventure tour guide is to ensure guests have a memorable vacation. Qualifications for becoming an adventure tour guide include superior people skill, the ability to multitask, and the ability to work in a fast-paced environment. Guides must be physically in shape in order to handle long days and physical activity in variety of environments. CPR and emergency response certification is also required for reputable adventure tour guides. Now that we know this about adventure tour and tour guide, let's know more about the other types of tour guides.
Hi and welcome. I am Erin and I will be discussing about fishing guide. What is a fishing guide? A fishing guide is a person who takes people out on boats, leads guided fishing tours, and helps or teaches others about fishing. And as a fishing guide, your main duties involve creating a plan for tours, interacting with guests, teaching guests new techniques, cleaning fish, and maintaining your boat and other equipment. How to become a fishing guide? Well, there are no formal qualifications needed to pursue a career as a fishing guide, but this job requires extensive knowledge of fish, fishing, and boat operations. You also need excellent social skills to keep guests happy on all outings. What does it take to be a fishing guide? One of the primary requirements of becoming a fishing guide is the love of fishing, and also the extensive experience and knowledge of the fishing population in your local area. Fishing guides are on the water almost every day and keep up with what the fish are doing and where they are going. They know the waters and know where to fish safely. As a fishing guide, you will be required to teach the passengers on your boat how to hook bait and how to fish.
Freelance guide or staff guide. A freelance guide can work in just any field you feel you are comfortable in. You do not need a specific destination like water guide, land guide, step-on guide, or sightseeing guide. Sometimes, individuals may choose to offer their guiding services independently rather than representing a business, museum, or location. Local guides who know a city well may guide tourists through points of interest using their personal boat, car, or other vehicles. Freelance guides might not have access to the insurance provisions of a larger company or established employer, so it's helpful to be mindful of local laws and other legal requirements as a freelance guide. So what's the difference between staff guide tour guide and freelance guide tour guide? Staff guide tour guide works in a travel agency, while freelance guide tour guide is not connected with travel agency and paid per trip. Private or personal common in developing countries where these services may be available at a reasonable price. They take small number of individuals on their own exclusive tour.
Good afternoon, I am Jovel Kahambing from Section TM4B, discussing the Special Interest Travel Guide. Rather than having a broad focus, a Special Interest Travel Guide provides an in-depth look at a specific location or interest within a destination. Special Interest Guidebooks can inform readers about their existing or new area of interest. You can also look at the special interest magazines at the newsagents and see which topics are covered. Usually, people who are passionate enough about a special interest to buy a magazine about it are the very same people who wants to immerse themselves in the topic by organizing a trip around it. Examples of special interest categories. The following is a list of some of the most popular special interest category niches. First on the list is local history and historical sites. Rather than creating a chronological account of a destination history, you should approach the topic on the basis of themes and subjects, which will be much more interesting and engaging than a chronological progression. Next is shopping. When writing your shopping travel guide, a theme is important to help you confine your content scope and attract target audience. Third one is museums and art history. If you're planning on writing a book for culture vultures, you'll need a fresh approach to the topic to attract your audience. Next is public gardens and parks. As well as the horticultural aspects of gardens and parks, travel guides, you can also include historical background that helps to put these locations' development into context. Next is volunteer vacations or working overseas. Of course, there are a myriad of global volunteering opportunities available. Next is activities like golf, scuba diving, and etc. If you're focused on writing about a specific activity, you'll need to have more than a general understanding about the sport or activity you're writing about it. Next is ecotourism or slow travel. Before you start writing a travel guide with an ecotourism or slow travel foundation, you'll need to make sure you understand the fundamentals of these travel movements. That's all for Special Interest Travel Guide. Thank you and mabuhay!
Good day, tourists. I am student number 7 and I will be discussing what is a nature tour guide. Nature tour guides lead groups to natural attractions, national parks, and other outdoor locations where wildlife and scenic location are the focus of the tour. These guides are expert in natural sciences and they have the ability to engage visitors with their knowledge about the history of a certain location. They are tasked to lead small group of individuals to an often protected but scenic natural area, with the intention of fostering a general appreciation of the natural habitat while having little to no impact to the environment, being that sustainability and the protection of nature and the environment are the foundation of their work.